Math 122, week number 4. We got 2 videos coming on income tax this week. Let's check it out. There's a lot of stuff involved in here, so let's turn the page, get it moving. Question 1 in the homework, you'll see something about Emily. You give her weekly income. She's got 2 young daughters, and you need to solve these 6 parts. I'm going to change the numbers slightly. I'll change it. She's now got 1 daughter. Change her income slightly. I'll solve all 6 parts, and you'll apply it back to your homework. Let's move. First up, gross income. Gross income is all the money that the person brings in. In Emily's case, you read her little scenario, she's bringing in $650. But be careful, she's bringing in that each week. Income taxes are an annual basis, so we need to multiply that by 52 weeks in a year. We need to find her entire year's income. Be very careful about that. Income taxes are always an annual basis. Each week means I got to times it by 52. Next up, adjustments. Adjustments are very specific. Check out the course lecture notes. I mentioned adjustments are college spending and retirement spending. If you read this brief scenario about Emily, there is no college spending and there is no retirement spending mentioned. Therefore, her adjustments are 0. Just straightforward like that. Moving on, deductions and exemptions. If you have checked class lecture notes, deductions, that is charity donations. Exemptions are money discounted for each person you take care of. So in order to solve both of those, they disappeared. Let me get them back. There we go. In order to solve deductions and exemptions, we need this chart. That should be on your homework. It should be linked in course documents. But this is the information given by the IRS that allows you to say, what is my exemption per person? Everybody I take care of, I get to exempt some money. What is my deduction if I don't do charity donations? So in order to take these make sense of these numbers, we need to identify what class Emily is in. In this case, if you read, oh, it keeps disappearing. There we go. She is single, but she has a daughter. Therefore, since she's single, but she's taking care of her daughter, we're going to say that she is the head of household here. She's the head household because she's taking care of her daughter. So these are the numbers I'm going to focus on for the rest of this problem, for figuring out exemptions and deductions and so forth. Okay, if you read the scenario about Emily, there's no mention of charity donations. Therefore, we're just going to pop down here and look at her standard deduction as a head of household, $9,100. That's it. How come I didn't say, oh, no charity donations, that sort of thing? The IRS allows you a standard deduction if you don't make any charity donations. In this case, Emily's going to say, yeah, my standard deduction is $9,100. Exemptions, how do those work? Per person. She takes care of herself and she takes care of her daughter, so she takes her exemption times 2. She's taking care of herself and her daughter. So her exemptions are total $7,900. That's a lot of work, and we're just identifying the first 4 parts of this problem. Like I said, taxes are pretty dense material here, but that's how we're going to do it. Gross income, money brought in, adjustments, college or retirement, deductions and exemptions. You need to read this chart to get those numbers. All right, step 5 now, taxable income. Taxable income, you're going to take those figures from steps 1 through 4, and you're just going to subtract. You take the gross income, all the money that comes in, and you subtract away your adjustments, subtract away the deductions, and subtract away the exemptions. So parts 1 through 4 work towards step 5, and you get the taxable income. Like I said, a lot of steps in these income tax problems. We're not even at the main event, so to speak, which is the next step. We are going to find the taxes owed. Taxable income. Okay, we got that from the last slide, $16,800. Now we're going to do the taxes owed. Lot of moving parts here. Let's try and break it down. So we know that Emily is taxable income is $16,800. So I'm going to make this there we go, a little graph of her taxable income. And you can see her graph goes a little past 15,000 because it's 16,800. That black bar represents the taxable income of Emily. Now over here on this side, we got the tax brackets. And we look right away and we say, okay, 16,800, so isn't she in the 15% bracket? And I agree with that. But this is the critical step, and by far the most confusing part about income taxes. We need to break up her taxable income. We need to break it up into tax brackets. What are we going to do? We're going to do step by step. We're going to look at the lowest tax bracket. 10% goes from 0 up to $12,950. And so I'm going to color that blue on her bar here. You see, it only goes up to $12,950 because the government only taxes that portion of it at 10%. But what about this little leftover black part? Well, that leftover black part is taxed in the 15% bracket. So I'm going to color that in a red color, and you'll see that it just goes up to 16,800. Now, in this number in the chart, it goes up to 49. I don't need the 49,000. Emily's only up to 16,800. What did I do? I took Emily's taxable income and I chopped it into two different brackets, two different tax brackets. How do I proceed from here? I look at this, the blue part, the 12,950, and I say that's taxed at 10%. Where's the 10% come from? The figures in that chart. And then this red part, I'm not going to tax 16,800. Why not? Because most of that I already taxed in this blue part. I'm going to take 3,850 and tax it. Where on earth did that 3,850? That is the difference. 3,850 is the difference between the red bar and the blue bar. That's a very subtle point. If you're finding difficulty understanding that 3,850, I'm happy to discuss that more, make emails or online tutoring is another way to address that. But that is a very subtle aspect of these tax problems. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's put it together. This 10% part, 12,950 times 10%, that's a calculated problem. 3,850 times 15%, that's another calculated party. Calculated party. I just said that. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have trouble living that down. That's a calculated problem. But we get the answer from that one, and the final answer, the taxes owed. We're going to take those two numbers and we're going to add them together. $1,872.50. A lot of moving parts. I completely understand if that's going to be tough to soak in on the first grasp. Give it a shot. There's going to be a second video coming because there's obviously the homework has got a lot of more complex problems. But check this one out. See how I'm breaking down Emily's taxable income into two tax brackets and doing percentages for each. Another video coming tomorrow on part C for the homework, I believe. But let this one digest. Ask me if you got questions.